Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Before we get into today's video, I wanted to take just a quick second to share with you my top 3 MaligatorMom must-haves. First on my list is tactipup.com. Now these are the collars that you see my dogs wearing in all my videos, and I personally prefer the 2-inch width. You can get them with their name embroidered on them, and I always have them at a handle. These collars are made with a cobra buckle and all metal hardware. They are incredibly durable and they are made right here in the USA. So if you're interested, check out tactipup.com and use my code MaligatorMom to save 10%. And number 2, everybody wants to know, what do you feed your dogs? Well, this is it. I feed my dogs Munster Milling. Now this is a customizable kibble, so you can actually go onto their website and select additives that they will mix fresh into your bag. It's absolutely phenomenal. I add things like bacon fat, salmon oil, probiotic, and freeze-dried elk. If you're interested, use my code MaligatorMom and you will save 55% off your first custom bag. And number 3, if you are interested in online dog training videos, you definitely need to check out robertcabral.com. I have consumed a lot of online dog training videos, and Robert is by far the best. Head over to robertcabral.com, use code MaligatorMom. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's me, MaligatorMom, and today I wanted to get kind of serious with you guys and talk about something that kind of came to my attention in the last week or so when it comes to having high drive, working dogs, multiple dogs in a household, and how you go about approaching, a curveball that you might be thrown in your life. So I'm gonna get a little real with you guys today. I'm gonna get a little vulnerable with you guys today. So if you are interested in my thoughts for this week, then stay tuned. So if you follow me on Instagram, then you may have noticed that I had posted some stories in the last week or two that had to do with my personal health. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, then I'm going to take just a second here to kind of recap what's going on with me to bring those of you up to speed who maybe don't follow me or miss those stories. So basically, last Friday, so a week ago, I had to go in for a needle biopsy of my left breast. Now, that happened because I ended up several weeks prior feeling a lump in my left breast. It was new to me, it was startling to me, and so because I am someone who has been touched by breast cancer in her life at a very young age, as far as my mother being diagnosed with breast cancer, I had a first cousin who had breast cancer and died very young and orphaned 2 young children, and so, this to me was not something that I was going to take lightly or not worry about. I made an appointment right away. So anyway, that led to some imaging, right? I had to have a mammogram, I had to have an ultrasound, and then that led to them requesting that I have something biopsied. So I had the biopsy done last Friday, and the biopsy itself wasn't terrible, but the doctor told me that from what he had seen on the screen, he was really not concerned, and to just kind of alleviate my anxiety, told me, hey, there's really nothing here that looks out of the ordinary or that I would worry about, have a great day. So I left feeling very relieved. And I shared this on my Instagram stories, but come to find out, a few days ago, the pathology results came back. And it turns out that I have something called atypical ductal hyperplasia. And basically that means is there's some atypical cells, some cells that aren't quite right, that shouldn't be there. This is not cancerous, but it can be considered precancerous. It puts me in a high risk category for having cancer, and it could also mean that there is cancer close by. So they have decided to do a surgical biopsy at this point where they're gonna go in, I'm gonna have to have surgery, and they want to biopsy that area a little more thoroughly to make sure that there is no cancer there, to make sure they can get an accurate picture of just how much atypical cells we're dealing with here, and just to get a better idea overall of what's going on. So I am currently at the point where I am waiting for the surgeon to make that appointment to get that scheduled. Now, all of that being said, obviously, I am upset. I'm having a lot of anxiety. I have cried a lot. When I was 12, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And watching her endure that is something that I carry with me. It's who I am. It's part of who I am. I kind of wrote a story in my soul, and it's just something that I carry with me, and it's something I won't forget. It was probably traumatic looking back now as an adult. And so because I have been touched by breast cancer like that in my life in such a meaningful way, just the thought that I could possibly have to endure that and put my family and my children through that gives me a lot of anxiety. And I'm trying to just keep my mind busy, stay occupied. I wasn't gonna film today because I couldn't think of anything to film of. I couldn't even come up with an idea or a concept because my mind is just mush right now. I couldn't even think of, I didn't even have the motivation, right? And so I thought, you know, I'm just gonna tell you guys what's going on. This channel isn't necessarily like a training channel. I'm not a trainer in that sense, right? This is just my experience in sharing my journey and who I am and what's going on with me and my family and my dogs. And so I thought I would talk about this with you guys in relation to how the dogs fit into this picture. Because when I came home from my biopsy on Friday, I was feeling fine, and then I wasn't feeling so fine. And so I had some discomfort, I think that was probably beyond what they considered normal. And I had some bleeding that was beyond what was considered normal. And I actually ended up in the ER and on antibiotics for infection. And so it just didn't go well. And the fact is that I am the main care provider for 4 Belgian Malinois. So it got me thinking, you know, what do you do when life throws you a curveball and you are living this lifestyle with these high energy, high maintenance dogs, and you are the one who's bearing most of that responsibility? You know, these are, you know, do I have help from my family? Please don't take this the wrong way. Of course I do. Of course I do. But this is my thing. This is my hobby. You know, this is how I spend my time. This is what I signed up for, not them. And I don't want to burden them with all of that. You know, and they all have their own plates full, you know. So it kind of got me thinking, you know, what would happen if something ended up happening where I was to be down for a while, right? I don't think that this is something that most people are considering when they get multiple dogs or they make a commitment to multiple dogs. And the reason I don't think most people think about it is because I didn't think about it until last week. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about, you know, when I was getting my 3rd and 4th dog, gosh, what if something happened to me, right? As their primary caregiver, what if something happened to me? Where would the dogs end up? How would we manage the dogs if I was down for a while? And so, you know, that's kind of why I wanted to do this video. I want to talk about that because I think it's really important. And I was completely beside myself that had not really dawned on me until it happened to me. So I'm going to tell you guys what we did. So basically, after my biopsy, I wasn't feeling well. I called a boarding house, which is also my personal trainer, so Global Canine Protection Services. And I just said, you know, hey, I'm not feeling well, and I don't think we can manage the dogs with me down. My husband has some priorities at work that can't be, you know, moved around right now, and my kids all are gone at school during the day, right? They're all full-time students. I can't do this right now. I need some help. And so I sent the dogs away to boarding, and that was fantastic. Like, you know, thank God that there was enough room, you know, that Global Canine had enough room at the time to come pick up my dogs. And they did, and they made that happen for me, and I'm so appreciative to them. I know I am incredibly lucky to have been connected with Courtney and Global Canine Protection Services. And so she came out, picked up my dogs right from my house, and took them out, and there they stayed for the next, I think it was 6 days. And then once I was feeling better, I was like, hey, I'm on the mend. I think I'm good. Let's bring them home. And they did. They delivered them right to my door, right? They piled them up in the van, loaded them up, brought them home. So I didn't have them for 6 days. And I probably couldn't have had them and done what was right by them. So if you are in a position where you have multiple dogs, it might be worth considering making a plan, because I didn't have one. And then I was scrambling to figure out, what am I gonna do with these dogs? Like I can't even lift my arm right now, let alone like handle Malinois, you know? What am I gonna do? Let this kind of serve as, you know, a PSA to those of you who have multiple dogs, or even one dog who may be just really high maintenance, right? One Malinois is enough, you know? That if you're down, make a backup plan. Maybe you need to have like some money set aside somewhere so that you've got, you know, at least a week's worth of boarding money set aside, because we know boarding isn't cheap, right? Like I spent over $1,000 having my dogs boarded for 6 days. There's 3 dogs, you know, that costs a lot of money. And for some people, that could have been devastating. That could have been absolutely devastating. That could have been rent money or their car payment for the month. So let this serve as a PSA. If you have dogs, or a high maintenance dog, or whatever your situation might be, you really need to consider setting a little money aside for boarding in the event that something happens. And it doesn't even have to be your own health. It could be an emergency with a family member, or anything, any curveball that life can throw us. Because goodness, does life throw us curveballs, right? If there's anything we can count on, it's that. So I just thought it was important today to take the time to just share with you guys what was going on with me, and pull what I could, you know, just kind of extract what I could out of it, how it related to the dogs, and share my thoughts on that. So this video is just short and sweet, and I don't know what I'll be doing next week. I don't know if I'll be filming next week. I don't want to make any commitments right now to any of that. I want to just kind of focus on myself and not overburdening myself. And right now I'm just feeling so anxious and mentally just over capacity that I don't want to commit to YouTube right now. So that being said, I will still continue to be active on Instagram and TikTok, and post and do things here and there as I can, or as I feel like I want to. But I think I might be taking a little pause here until this situation gets itself figured out and I know what I'm facing. Once I know what I'm facing, I will share that with you guys, and we'll make decisions then. But I feel like right now everything's kind of up in the air, and I just need to take some time to breathe. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. Again, I'll see you guys on Instagram. I'll keep posting here and there. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not gonna commit to YouTube full time like I have been, uploading every week. Just gonna take a little break and figure out, you know, what's going on with me, and then I'll come back once I know what's going on. So thank you guys so much for all of your love and support. I received so many wonderful, sweet messages from you guys. And yeah, I don't know that I'll see you guys next week, but I will see you again.